Well, tens of billions of dollars in backdated personal income tax cuts and cash payments for pensioners will feature in Tuesday's delayed federal budget. The Treasurer says Australia's biggest ever deficit is the true cost of saving lives and livelihoods from the ongoing threat of COVID-19.
Planting the seeds for what he hopes will be Australia's economic recovery from the worst recession in a century.
How heavily does all of that weigh on a Treasurer?
Very. But it's not about me. It's about the Australian people.
Delivering the most generous tax and spending budget the nation has ever seen. Not by choice, says Treasurer, but by necessity.
Our focus now is moving as quickly as possible with as many targeted and temporary measures as possible to get people back to work.
Confirming a $1.2 billion skills package to help train up to 100,000 new workers. From tomorrow, businesses hiring a new apprentice or trainee will be eligible for a 50% wage subsidy of up to $28,000 a year.
Businesses of any size, small, medium, large, across Australia, in any industry and in any geographic location.
This is the sort of policy that we're going to be looking at and saying, yes, let's take on apprentice.
Despite a record deficit of at least $200 billion and debt creeping above $800 billion, SBS World News understands the government will bring forward $20 billion in personal income tax cuts, backdating the relief to July 1, so money hits pockets and cash registers as soon as possible. The low and middle income tax offset also set to be extended, along with 2 further cash payments to pensioners.
Tax relief not only provides reward for effort, but it also generates jobs.
Economists aren't so sure.
Stimulus saved is stimulus wasted.
Arguing pumping cash into health, aged care and universities would be far more effective.
For every one job that the tax cuts could potentially create, about 13,000 jobs, we could get 160,000 or 12 times as many jobs investing in employment-intensive industries. The reason that tax cuts are such poor stimulus is because they're saved.
JobSeeker, the lifeline millions of Australians have relied on, likely to be replaced by a new subsidy in March, benefiting businesses that hire new staff.
The government, having implemented JobKeeper too slowly and too narrowly, now withdraws it too quickly and too bluntly.
The numbers in Tuesday night's budget rely on 2 very big assumptions: that a vaccine will be discovered and Australia's borders will reopen early next year.
We know population growth is going to go through the floor. How concerning is that to Australia's economic growth?
It's one of the 3 Ps, population, participation and productivity, all drive economic growth. Population growth numbers will be the lowest in more than 100 years. Net overseas migration will be going backwards for the first time in 46 years.
Sliding from back in the black into a decade of deficits.
And let's cross live now to our chief political correspondent, Brett Mason in Canberra. Brett, this will be unlike any budget we've ever seen before.
Darren, it's going to be unique, not just because of the unprecedented and eye-watering numbers inside those budget papers, but because Parliament House here in Canberra will once again be locked down, closed to the public. MPs and senators have begun arriving here in the capital this evening, ferried to Canberra via Air Force charter flight, many of them wearing face masks. Social distancing will once again take place on the floor of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, including during Tuesday night's budget speech. The Prime Minister says this will be a job maker budget with a particular focus on young Australians and women. But while we know culturally and linguistically diverse Australians have been hardest hit and first hit by the pandemic and also its economic impacts, today the Treasurer couldn't point me to any specific measures to help in their economic recovery. Spending all of this money may prove to be the easy part, Darren. The challenge now for the Prime Minister and Treasurer is to begin to withdraw it at a time when unemployment continues to rise.
OK, thank you for the update. Brett Mason there from Canberra.